Twisted Christian back with a video. Today I'm going to be discussing about the coming financial crash, the global reset, as some people say. And before we get into all that, first I'd just like to thank you guys for the Patreon support. Trust me guys, you guys will benefit greatly from this. The stocks and some of the other things that we discuss with the wells will be going on the Patreon first. It's going to give you guys an advantage. And I know that with these Kim Clement 8 wells, he actually had about 15 to 16 different wells. It wasn't just 8. I think there were the main 8, but he mentioned so many other different things. And as I was doing the research, when you actually dig into Kim Clement's prophecies, he actually had, like I said, he had a lot more than 8. And so far, when I looked through and I got people emailing me, looks like he may have had about 15 or 16 different types of wells that we can dig into. Now, the 8 specific wells, as far as what those are, I did a video on it and I made a speculation of what the 8 wells were. But there are many other wells that he did discuss. He didn't mention 8 when he was talking. He just mentioned about 5. He just mentioned about 5 of them, but he didn't mention some of the others by name. He didn't say this is the 8 wells. So for those who are on Patreon, I have posted one of the things that he talked about, the BBB, the company that starts with BBB. So that is on there. Now I'm going to be doing a video on where you can buy it from specifically, and it's right now it's anywhere, depending on which trading platform you're on, it's anywhere from 27 cents to 34 cents per share. But one of the things that I was thinking about was, and I've thought about this for a long time, because when Kim Clement's prophecy about the Dow hitting 20,000 and the Dinar will be released, and we saw the Dinar hit 20,000, but we didn't see the Dinar release, but we weren't looking at all the other prophecies concerning the Dinar. And when you look at all the other prophecies concerning the Dinar, he talks about political upheaval. He talks about, when it seems, when things seem at their worst, that's when it's going to come. So we saw the Dow go past 20,000. We see where it's at today. Now, what if the Dow has to go back to 20,000 before the financial reset takes place? And just like I share with people, I say, you know what? Every time you see the stock markets going up and down, yes, some of the stocks that you've invested in go up and down a little bit here and there, but it's a lot of times it's the major stocks that get hit. And so when you see the Dow go down to 20,000, to not be afraid. And that's the thing. Do we celebrate? And that's the whole thing. Do we celebrate the stock markets going down? Do we celebrate a financial crash in order for the dinar to take place? Does it really matter if the worldwide financial system crashes in order to release the global currency reset? Does it really matter if the world economy crashes to unleash the dinar? Right? Because that's what we're looking for. Right? For those who are invested, that's what we look for. Right? Because whether it's the prophecies or whether it's financial experts are saying, do we need a global financial crash in order for this to happen? And that's why you cannot be scared. You cannot worry about a crash. And if I saw the Dow go from 26,000 to 21,000 in a matter of within a month, I'm going to be celebrating, because then I know what's getting ready to take place. And I think that a lot of countries are preparing for the financial crash because what are they doing? They're buying gold. Tons and tons and tons and tons of gold. In 1 month, last month, Turkey bought 12 tons of gold. And they're already up higher on the list than a lot of other countries. But they bought a lot of gold. What are they preparing for? They're preparing for the new global currency reset, just like all these other countries that are doing. Now, there's some countries that are going to be left behind. There's a lot of talk about the dollar losing about 30% during this global financial crash, and that it's going to take about 90 days to get everything back on track. Well, then does it really matter? Does it really matter? Now, if you're invested in, like, I talk a lot about different stocks, right? If you go back through from the very beginning of my videos, there are some videos I talk about stocks, different stocks, and some of them have gone down, but I keep investing in those stocks because I know that one day that those same stocks, especially energy stocks, oil stocks, do really good when the economy when the world economy is not doing so great. But I'm not worried about whether or not if the dollar loses 30% because I know that we have a president that will be able to get that back, and I think that all is going to have to deal with the gold standard. We're going to be forced to go to the gold standard. So when I look at Kim Clemente's prophecy again, and I said, well, maybe we got it, maybe, yeah, even though we hit 20,000, but maybe we have to go back down to 20,000 because he said that when it hits 20,000, that the dinar will be released. So even though, okay, so it went past 20,000, well, now we see because of the trade war and everything else, is it going to go back down to 20,000? And is that what we need? Do we need to celebrate in a way, right? A financial crash. That sounds weird, doesn't it? But in that, and I have people ask me, do I still invest in stocks? Do I still invest in gold? Do I still invest in the other Kim Clement wells that I've discussed? And I don't let any opportunity go by. Just as an example, like Zion Oil. Zion Oil was at hit it pretty low at 27 cents per share. I have bought Zion Oil at 50 cents, at 45 cents, 40 cents, 35 cents, 34, 33, 32, and I've bought Zion Oil at 27 cents. So even though that has gone down, I haven't lost faith in the investment because I know that one day it will. Because the moment that they discover oil or gas, it doesn't matter how big or small the field that they find, it's going to take off. And I know they've been doing it for a long, long time. And it's just a matter of time before that they do. And now they have new 3D equipment that they're using. So now they can go back over some of the places they used under the old equipment and search. So just because you invest in a stock and it goes down, for me, I just continue to buy more. Especially if it's a stock that you believe in. If it's a company that you believe in. If it's a well that you believe in. You're just going to give every opportunity to keep investing. So this is the way I look at it. No matter what happens to the dollar, no matter what happens into the financial crash, if there comes one, right? At least one thing you guys have to understand is that he said it would, when things seem like they're at their worst. Seem, that word seem, because that word you can use that word. It seems like, right? It seems like you're doing this. It seems like you're acting like this. It seems like you're being like this. But it doesn't necessarily mean that that's the truth. So even if the markets start to go down, they're heading back down towards 20,000. You got these military conflicts. You got these political conflicts all over the world, right? And these are things that the world has dealt with forever. Since the beginning of civilization. Personally, I'm not worried. The way I look at it, even if I invest something at 50, even if I invest, say if I buy 1,000 shares of something at 50 cents, right? And the financial crash happens, it goes down to 25 cents. Well, you know what? To me, it doesn't matter because that particular stock, I know, is going to go back up higher after crash. Now, I do believe that some of these stocks, some of these wells that we're investing in are going to take off before the dinar. If they don't, that's fine. It just means that the wells that I've dug will come later on. But one of the reasons why I'm digging into some of these wells now is because, and I've told you guys before in many previous videos, that I believe that when the global currency reset happens, that the Iraqi dinar is still the best value out of all the other currencies. I do believe after listening, re-listening to some of the things that I was saying and what Currency 365 was saying, I believe now that Bitcoin was one of those wells. It just wasn't really identified specifically because the amount of money that you could have invested was way less than the dinar. And he said something about something that I said about the gurus had you blinded. Right? I've said it. Currency 365 has said it. And they have you still blinded now. Don't forget there are other wells to be digging that will allow you to invest more into the global currency reset. So all I'm just going to say is don't be afraid of any type of crash when it comes here to the United States, or a crash that's worldwide as far as the financial markets. This is what we are looking for. I know it sounds weird, but when you go back over the prophecies, when you go back over what has to be done in order for this to happen, guess what? In a way, we should be celebrating. Okay, the markets are coming down. That's good for our investments. That's good for oil investments. That's good for our energy investments. Because those are the only people that stay alive in those industries. If you're involved in stocks that deal with like selling clothing and stuff like that right now, those aren't very good stocks to deal with right now. And definitely during a crash. So you have to look at the specific industries, and usually the oil and energy industries usually do very well in any kind of economic crash because you still need those things, right? You can still wear the same clothes for the next 2 or 3 years, right? But you still got to buy oil, you still got to buy gas, you still need manufacturing still needs oil. The truckers still have to go from place to place to place. So don't fear a financial crash. Don't worry so much about, well, maybe moving this investment here and this investment there. It just really depends on what you're invested in. And for me, a lot of it is oil and energy stocks. That's where my focus is. And some of these Kim Clement wells are mineral mining, as far as they mine for minerals and gold, silver, and other rare metals and stuff like that. So I say this to say this is that if we need some type of financial crash in order for this to happen, then let it be so if it's what we need, and do not fear. Do not fear a global crash. Regardless of what happens, you have a president that has stood up to the biggest economy, to the biggest military in the world with this trade war that's going on. And he is the right person to bring the economy back on track if there's any kind of crash. And I already believe that we're going to go to the gold standard once that happens. See this right now where the markets are? There's always corrections in the market. There's always corrections in the market. So this might be a very, very big correction, because you got to remember that we were just, especially the United States, and I don't know about a lot of other countries, but they were just printing money to be printing money. Billions and billions of dollars all around the world, USD and whatever other countries, were just printing money just out of thin air. I mean, that's where $244 trillion in debt comes from. Anyways, I just say this to say that you want to be smart about your investments. You want to look, you study, and you learn. Because after the global reset, you need to be able to into a position to be able to go to say, okay, I need to go to this trading website, I need to trade this here, I need to buy this here, I need to sell this here. There's another Kim Clement well that just came about, and I need to buy that here. You need to be in position, and you need to be ready. But one of the things is that you cannot fear. You cannot fear the markets going down. If you buy, like I said before, if you buy a stock at 50 cents and it goes down to 25 cents, you cannot fear. So I'm going to let you guys listen to Currency 365's take on this. I listened to what he had to say. It's very good. it should give you more of a resolve of what we need to do within ourselves to say, hey, if there's a financial crash coming and it happens, then that's fine. Because I know in the end that I'm going to prosper way more than I ever have before in my life. So you can't fear it. You have to embrace it. Now Kim Clement did say it seemed, that word seem. So that word seem, it could seem like the world economy is bad. It could seem like there's all these military conflicts and all this stuff is going on. It could seem like the world is getting ready to end. Doesn't mean that it is. So that's why you have to resolve your faith in that this is going to happen. And if the markets go down in the way that it has, we have to embrace it. And then just to let you guys know, I have a lot of great videos coming. A lot of great videos. So I just need to get them out one at a time. The moment they're done, I upload them immediately. Unless they're for Patreon users first. Again, I appreciate you guys' support. All the support links are down below in the description. Twisted Christian out.